of this leads us to demand of ourselves to remember and to honor is the wondrous foundation, security and freedom, born of our United States Constitution. Citizens' rights, human rights, rights to equality of life, and the fulfillment of the human need, not luxury, to dream. To believe in the possibility of change built on reason, peace, and our responsible stewardship of the Constitution. When do such acts as those in Oklahoma City or those in Santa Cruz become pervasive? And again, we are excusing no one their violence. They become pervasive every time we devolve our Constitution. Each generation's responsibility is to be more complete than the last in its commitment to constitutional principles. The major parties are both running candidates who not only approved the unconstitutional misuse of FISA warrants, but also supported retroactive immunity to the telecommunications companies who violated the public trust, violated the rule of law, and violated our Constitution hand in hand with the current administration's unlawful and un-American wiretaps. We are, in fact, their employers, and the Democratic and Republican candidates who seek our employment as our next president are both on record as participants in devolving our Constitution. When a member of the United States military takes an oath of service, he takes that oath to serve our Constitution, not in the service of a 4 to 8 year employee. When we say we support our troops, we can't begin to do that until we join in solidarity, pledging that same oath. Should it concern us that when animal rights activists become hopeless in their efforts to gain consideration for animal rights, that they would attack equally well-intended scientists who, through research involving mice, find their family cars and homes bombed by fellow Americans over mice? Now this may sound convoluted, but not if one tracks the cultural response of hostility from every passionate point of view when a leadership itself is so prone toward unjustifiable violence and un-American diminishment of the Constitution. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think the American hopeless will do over further attack on our Constitution? When Barack Obama and John McCain would neglect that the rule of law must not stop at the White House, that impeachment for them is off the table, that bombing Iran is on their table, we'd better consider what the fundamentalists within will put on our table. If we leave it to them to be the last line of defense, if we leave it to violence to be the last line of defense against the diminishment of our Constitution, of our voice, then it is we who will have no excuse. The solution and our mission is to put all challenges on the table now, and to do that, we must have open debate. I deeply believe that it would be pure cynicism to suggest that the hope so many of our fellow Americans attached to Barack Obama's candidacy can be viewed comparably to dancing about architecture. He is a great symbol of possibility. There's no question that this elegant man has great potential as America's new ambassador to a fragmented world. But while those are two urgent pieces of the puzzle, change will not and cannot come if our reliance as a people is on the best political team on TV or a candidate whose record is so dominantly status quo. It is we the people who must make change, and to do that, we must grow our democracy through challenge, tolerance, respect, and compromise, the achievements of open debate. And it is in that debate that we are not alone. The clear and responsible mind recognizes significant leaders of change and voices of a diverse nation. They've always been with us. There's no one in this room who is without a friend or loved one, or perhaps some of you yourselves, whose very life was preserved by the change advocacy of Ralph Nader. That's a claim that neither major candidate and very few other men or women of our century can make. We need that voice in education. We need it in environment, economy, poverty, healthcare, nuclear energy, foreign policy, immigration, volunteerism, human rights, and a world of veterans issues that are coming our way. For the moment, judge it as you will, the necessary of Ralph Nader, in fact, is obligated to make a run for the presidency. It is the American thing to do. If it doesn't suit your taste, or if it creates an inconvenience for you, there may be a time where other productive options are on the table. So no matter who your presidential pick is, for America, let's demand to hear the challenge of Ralph Nader. Let's demand to hear all the voices for change that represent the needs of all Americans. We must demand it in our media. We must demand it of John McCain. We must demand it of Barack Obama. I'm sick of this high school with suits on called the Democratic and Republican parties. I'm telling you, you go around and you've heard it. They brandish their party credentials by snickering away debate like a clique of wormy snobs. We saw our Republican brothers and sisters punked out by spin and marginalization, brought to them by their pundits in public service, and they allowed it to co-opt their own thought. The Republican Americans are anything but our enemy. They are just as important to the fabric of this country as any of us. But we watched as they were suckered into serving interests against their own countries and against their own by confidently presented exploitation of them by their leaders. And we are no better. It can happen to us, and to many it has. So, the question is, are we going to fight for the public discourse of facts? Or will we be shamed into hiding, not only by the O'Reillys and the Limbaughs and the Hannitys, but also by the confident disparaging of thought handed down by the James Carvilles of the mainstream media? Hope has never arrived through staunch pragmatism. And it's for that reason that I am still considering my own decision as to whom I will vote for. But in fairness to Ralph Nader, the American hero in this building with us tonight, to the Bob Barrs, the Ron Pauls, Cynthia McKinneys, and the independent spirit of Dennis Kucinich, that when we are told not to vote for someone because he or she is a spoiler, let's remember that Barack Obama himself is considered the greatest spoiler of all by a narcissistic branch of Democrats who've simply forgotten their manners, a slip of hubris that much certainly had Dr. King clawing at his casket as in their defiant, like a little kid losing at a game.